not going to get a second chance in the game.
Hello, coaches. I'm Adam Kiefer, linebackers coach here at Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois. Today, what I'll be talking about really within the world of offensive RPOs from a defensive perspective now, being able to align and then certain job responsibilities really amongst linebackers to defend certain RPOs today here within our 3-4 defense. Our base defense is a 3-4 field boundary based defense, which means that we will reduce one side of our front or the other, and primarily we operate out of a quarters based coverage shell. And so today I will just look over our boundary reduction along with a quarters coverage behind it. And so right now I have pre-drawn up a spread 2x2 formation doubles. And then I'll go through the alignments from boundary to field on all the defenders that we have, and then go through really the responsibilities of the linebackers. So right now, with this sort of formation set, we will align our corners about 7x0 on number 1 receivers, and then really our safeties will then align a 12 by the inside half on the inside receivers. And really our linebackers, starting with our buck here, boundary outside backer, we will align really what's called a 7 technique. So if he has a tight end, he will align shoe to shoe with him. If he does not, then he's really about 1 yard away from that defensive end outside on the line of scrimmage. All right, and our base linebacker alignment here is what we call a 30 alignment. And so they will be right on the outside leg of the guard. And then our Sam is going to be aligning himself based upon the split of the inside receiver. And so versus a 2x2 set, he has 2 removed over here. He will judge his alignment based upon his width. So if he is outside of the hash, he will apex it at 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. If this receiver now works to be on or inside of the hash, we will align our Sam to be on the inside half of that receiver at 3 yards depth from the line of scrimmage. Okay? And so that's base alignment, and with up front, we will line our ends in 4 techniques and then our nose in a 0 in a base 3-4. And so the overall job responsibilities, I will work from boundary to field again. And so within a base stunt that we have working here is within our buck and end, we will utilize what's called angle techniques. All right, and so then they're looking at the guy that's inside of them. So for the end here, starting with the end, he will then look at the guard. He gets shoulders at him, he will work to cross face into the A gap. And if he has shoulders away, guards away, he will work to squeeze it. And same thing for the buck. This tackle comes out at you, work to cross face into that B gap. And if he's down, you squeeze down. And then with the end, we'll work a slant technique right here into the A gap. And the end is working to C. So then you see the picture of the side of which we're reducing to. Okay, and then really over here is what we would call the Okie side of it. So then our Mike, primarily responsible for B gap here. And then our Will, because we're reducing down so far into these gaps, he is now responsible for C gap. All right, and now looking over here to the field side of it, to take care of these RPO reads here, our corner will key 2 to 1. So any sort of base RPO, a bubble right out over there, that corner will then drive and be the force player outside here and be really the force player on that bubble. All right. The Sam, his eyes are going to be on the tackle. All right. So we also key fast flow really primarily with our inside backers, but our eyes here are on the tackle. All right. So if he has run action 2, let's say they go zone here to the field. All right. This Sam is keying this tackle. So then if it's a give, he will late fold back into that B gap. All right, and then as this action is working this way with the movement, with our reduction, our Mike then is going to be keying the guard here in this case to where this guard comes out. So again, we still have zone action coming out here to the field. This guard comes out. I'm just working to step behind right on the backside of that nose in that backside A gap. All right, so between these two, he's keying the tackle here in this case. He's keying the guard. All right, so then the guard comes out. Mike, I'm going to step behind it. The guard comes down, then I'm working here B gap. And then Sam is keying the tackle. So tackle is down, then he's pretty much outside containment here, second on quarterback. and really guard tackle comes out at him, then he will late fold back into B gap. All right, and so now if they want to throw this out here, let's say they think they're comfortable with this alignment of the Sam that they have leverage on it, then they throw it out. This Sam now becomes second on bubble. So he becomes that fit player on the inside of it. So now we have a compression here between our corner and our Sam. All right. So a lot of times I'm going to tell my Sam to be able to diagnose what's happening in front of him on his keys and allot him 2 steps. And it's just going to be leverage foot up, 2 steps in place to be able to sort it out. And if they want to throw it, then you're second on bubble. Bubble is not your primary responsibility. The corner is going to be the force player on it to try and get it to cut back inside to you as the fit player. Okay? And then we also have the safety over here to help make him right as the flow player. Okay? So now, looking to the boundary side of it. All right? And within the wonderful world of RPOs, offenses look at really 3 different things. Leverage of the overhang defender, grass, and numbers. All right? And so the first key here is the overhang defender, which would be our outside backer here. And now he's down at the line of scrimmage. He is not in a position really to be a presence on the bubble screen on the RPO, and so, since he's the on backer. So what we do here is that we will align our boundary inside backer wider to nearly apexed outside there. Because now he becomes really the Sam like he is to the field side. He becomes that second on bubble. All right. And what we're telling him is that a lot of times linebackers coaches will tell them to also key guard pulls and things like that. With this stunt that we have on, we really don't need to worry about match pull. What we're doing here is that if he has a guard pull there, we can match it with our defensive end who's already going down into A gap. All right. And so knowing that he doesn't need to really match pull and he's C gap presence out here, if anything were to pop out his way, then he's already in a position, so align already yourself for success. All right? And say they want to throw the bubble out here. Same principle. The corner is going to key 2 to 1, outside force player, inside fit player, you're second on bubble here. All right? So it really works both ways here. And then also the safety as the flow player. Okay? And so really his main responsibility within this base front, within this base reduction, is going to be more C gap. And the beauty of within our defense is that we are very simple with the shell that we want, but then we have enough stunt tags that we're utilizing. We've thrown a couple new ones also this offseason to be able to continuously give the offense different looks. And so, but this is one of our base ones that we utilize the most because it's really honestly the most sound for us. And it also honestly helps us within the RPO, especially to the boundary side over here, now that we can pull this will out of the box more so. All right. So, and then we'll look at some clips on huddle as well. All right, coaches. So with this, as what we just drawn up before, we have base spread 2x2 doubles here out of our base boundary reduction with quarters coverage behind it. So as you can see, going from boundary to field, the alignments of our defensive backs as well as now our linebackers. So our field side or our boundary side outside backer, our buck, is going to be down on the line of scrimmage at about a 7. He does not have a tight end, but he's still about 1 yard away from that defensive end. And our will backer, our boundary inside backer, he is now going to be widened out just from the stunt that we just showed you where everybody's spilling. Now he can widen out, be in a position to really be second on that bubble if that were to occur to the boundary side. Our Mike here, our field side inside, is going to be in his base 30 alignment, outside leg of the guard here to the field side. And now Sam is going to apex his alignment here at 3 because this inside receiver is going to be wider than the hash, so we will just apex that. And so we have a screen to 1 here in this case. And our inside backer is a little fast in trying to attach to that number 2. And just needs to take a path as he's now second on screen. So we have our corner out there as the outside force player, and our will is the inside fit player. And really, as you see down here on the field side, with this number 2 running that quick bubble, our corner's out, as the outside force player. And really the safety then will take over his responsibilities. His eyes will then transition to 1 and take him. And then our Sam, you see, he's got 1 step there. He's got to take 2 steps to where now he's second on bubble. But if I go to the end zone shot here, all right, so from this angle, our tackle down here in the boundary side works out to our buck. So he has to work to wrong arm and cross face here. Our boundary defensive end, he works across face. Our boundary inside backer now, his alignment is apex here. And in his eyes, as for us, we key fast flow down to your guard. But here at our boundary inside backer spot, he's worried more about the gap. So he doesn't really need to be drawn in by that inside receiver on that route. He can be patient, work through him, out to be second on that screen. And over here to the field side, we have our guard down over here for our Mike. So then he has what's called a trigger read down into that gap. And the scheme that they have here from our offense is they have a center pull. So then he will work to just go ahead and spill that puller. Inside shoulder of that, rip through that. And he still has help here as that Sam, if he were to get that run key, his tackle is working outward. So then it would naturally fit on the outside of that puller. And so then we still have numbers, we still have a lot of bodies if they were to hand it off. And down here we're still sound as we have a force and a fit player down here at the boundary side on that screen. And coaches, I do appreciate you taking the time here to listen. Here at Knox College, it's a very fun defense that we like to be part of here. And don't worry, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions regarding what we do defensively within our alignments or our scheme in general. And I do appreciate your time again. Thank you.